All right. Well, everybody, the president just come out a few moments ago. Let's tune in and see what he has to say. So, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This week, America continues our aggressive effort to defeat the virus. As we enter a crucial and difficult phase of the battle, we continue to send our prayers to the people of New York and New Jersey and to our whole country. But right now, New York and New Jersey are very hot zones, and we're with them, we're with everybody. Your struggle is our struggle, and we will beat this virus. We will beat it together. I also want to send best wishes to a very good friend of mine and a friend to our nation, Prime Minister Boris Johnson. We're very saddened to hear that he was taken into intensive care this afternoon, a little while ago.
Reports he was getting some oxygen.
And Americans are all praying for his recovery. He's been a really good friend. He's been really something very special, strong, resolute, doesn't quit, doesn't give up. We have made tremendous progress on therapeutics. I had a fantastic call today, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. And I've asked two of the leading companies, these are brilliant companies, Ebola, AIDS, others, they've come with the solutions and just have done incredible jobs. And I've asked them to contact London immediately. They have offices in London, the major companies, but more than major, more than size, they're genius.
I hear that within the greater Boston area,
I had a talk with four of them today.
A cold.
And they speak a language that most people don't even
something
understand.
they can use as a base or something.
But I understand something, that they've really advanced therapeutics,
the medicine is amazing.
therapeutically, and they have arrived in London already. Their London office has whatever they need, and we'll see if we can be of help. We've contacted all of Boris's doctors, and we'll see what is going to take place, but they are ready to go. But when you get brought into intensive care, that gets very, very serious with this particular disease. So the two companies are there, and with what they are talking about, and it's rather complex and has had really incredible results. We're working with the FDA and everybody else, but we are working with London with respect to Boris Johnson. Across the country, we're attacking the enemy on all fronts, including medical, scientific, social, logistical, and economic. We're pressing into action the full power of American government and American enterprise, and our military has been incredible. We've just sent 3,000 public health personnel. They're now deployed in the New York area, and they'll be over at the Javits Center, over at the Great Ship. And as you probably have heard,
it's a big, beautiful.
And I was informed that Governor Cuomo has already told you and announced. He called me up a little while ago, and he asked whether or not it would be possible to use the ship with respect to fighting the virus. And we hadn't had that in mind at all, but we're going to let him do it, and we're also going to let New Jersey.
Power to him.
Governor Murphy, we spoke with him a little while ago, and New Jersey is going to use it also because New Jersey is a hot spot. So Governor Murphy and Governor Cuomo are going to be using the ship, New York, New Jersey, and it's a big ship. And it's now COVID. It's set for COVID, and we are going to, hopefully, that will be very helpful to both states. The Javits Center, which is 2,900 beds, just built by our military, also is going to be manned now by the military, and they should be in place tomorrow. And they'll start sending quite a few people over to the Javits Center. It's convenient. It's right in the middle of everything. So that'll be something great, and we appreciated Governor Cuomo's really nice statements, and likewise Governor Murphy. We have
President looks tired.
Worked very well with both of them, and with, frankly, all of the governors. Vice President Pence had a call this morning with them that lasted for close to 2 hours. And I understand there wasn't
I really reach out to
a
the other
negative
states.
person on the call.
Find
50
out what's
governors,
going
or
on.
just about 50 governors. I think they were all on, from what I understood. And they were very positive about everything their federal government has been doing for them. And you'll hear what that is, and it's rather amazing, actually. Nationwide, the Army Corps of Engineers is building 22 field hospitals. These are big hospitals. And alternate care
Now, the
sites
areas
in
that
18
need
states.
PPE, do they have PPE?
So you have a combination of
We're hearing about all
22
these
field
masks.
hospitals. In addition to
People
that,
are
we're
receiving the
building
equipment.
alternate care sites, which is a little bit of a smaller version of the hospital. And we have a lot of them, and they're going up in 18 different states. In total, we have deployed 8,450 hospital beds from federal stockpiles. And, you know, if you think this is done over a period of weeks, it's incredible, actually. More than
A lot of
8,000
logistics.
ventilators have been sent from the national stockpile to our cities and states, backed by the Defense Production Act, which we've used very strongly, very powerfully. So powerfully that we don't have to use it too much, frankly. And it's nice when you don't have to.
Well,
We're getting
people don't really
more
have a
than we
choice,
ever
so-
bargained for. American industry is stepping up. Manufacturers are really going to town, and we have thousands of ventilators being built as we speak, and we have hundreds that are being sent to different locations, and we're ready to roll with almost 10,000 that we have in the federal stockpile. When I say ready to roll, too, I mean exactly what that states. We are, wherever that monster goes, we're able to move with it.
President
Great
used the
flexibility.
term
We have
monster
tremendous
now.
flexibility. And we have people waiting,
Well, it's
and they're
causing
ready,
horrific
willing, and able,
devastation.
but waiting to bring them wherever it may be, if they're needed. If they're needed. It's possible that they won't be needed, that we're fully stocked, because numbers are coming in where, because of what the American people are doing, we're having fewer hospital visits. I think that could be the case in
That's
New
about half
York.
the
It could
folks
be the
at
case in a
the
few
market
other
the other
states.
day had masks.
And fewer beds, fewer hospital visits mean fewer ventilators. So we'll see whether or not our original projections were right. But anyway, I had a very good talk with both governors, and I think they're very happy, extremely happy about the what we're doing for them, and especially going all COVID. So that'll take place almost immediately. FEMA and HHS have directly distributed 11.7 million N95 respirators. Think of that. Get the number. 11.7 million N95 respirators. 11.7 million. 26.5 million surgical masks. 5.3 million face shields. 4.4 million surgical gowns, and 22.6 million gloves. 22.6 million gloves. We have also arranged for vast quantities of additional materials to be allocated through donations and existing supply chains. We've also given tremendous medical material and supplies throughout the 50 states and territories. And through Project Airbridge, we have succeeded in bringing plane loads of vital supplies into the United States from overseas. We had an additional 3.
Some of the
These are
states are still
massive
getting outfitted by
planes,
the
by the
federal
way.
government. Tell them to get their
big
own
planes.
supplies.
They're very big.
We had
very
Bob Kraft
powerful,
fly a
and
bunch
they're
over.
loaded to the gills with supplies. And rather
every state
than
is
bringing them
different.
into our stockpile, as we've discussed, we bring them to all the different locations where they're needed, so we can save a big step and a timely step. Because of my actions under the DPA, I can also announce today that we have reached an agreement, very amicable agreement, with 3M for the delivery of an additional 55.5 million high-quality face masks each month, so that we're going to be getting, over the next couple of months, 166.5 million
so we're
masks
replenishing
for our
stockpiles.
frontline healthcare workers.
Now, do folks on the ground have the
3M
material
saga
now?
ends very happily. We're very proud to be dealing now with 3M.
Oh, it's beautiful
and
for the
its
future.
CEO Mike Roman. I just spoke
Can't
with
let
him,
this
and I
happen
thanked
again.
him for getting it done. and Mike was very happy to get it done. Great company. So we're getting 166.5 million masks, and mostly that's going to be for our frontline healthcare workers. Okay, that's 3M. Thank you, 3M.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Apple, one of the many great American companies that's really leapt into action. Today, Apple announced that it is now producing plastic face shields for healthcare workers at the rate of 1 million per week. 1 million, and these are the shields that you see on television quite a bit, and they're at the highest level of quality and safety. We're grateful as well to Salesforce, which has donated 48 million pieces of personal protective equipment, including masks, gowns, suits, and face shields. So thank you very much to Salesforce. I urge all of our nation's governors to ensure that the massive deliveries that we've made to your states over the past few weeks are distributed as quickly as possible. So again, we're working very well with the governors. Now, they may see you and say, oh, we're not happy, but they're very happy on the phone. And Mike Pence is a straight shooter, and he had a great phone conversation to them with all of the governors, teleconference.
Well, this thing, each governor is
they're
going to
very
argue for
happy.
his or her
Every
state.
one of them. Were there any negatives?
No, sir.
See? I told you. Mike is the greatest. Mike, and you have done a great job, Mike, and I appreciate it. The whole country appreciates it. Anthony
If you want to
appreciates
drop
it,
the
right?
mic,
Don't
just
you
drop the
see?
mic and go.
Everybody appreciates Mike. Special man.
Oh,
So a lot of the things that we've done, again, are going directly to the states. The states seem to be very happy. If they're not, they can call me directly. They can call Mike directly,
Right.
and we'll make them happy. But tremendous progress
said
has
he
been
might
made
not
in a
reach
very
out,
short
but-
period. And I think very
a leader.
importantly, the progress has been made before the
turns on the
surge
call of a
comes.
governor,
because
let
the
us
next
know.
week and a half is going to be a big surge, the professionals tell us, and I think we're in good shape for it, Anthony. So it's good timing, really good timing. We can have this stuff there. It's already there for the most part, but we're bringing a lot of different resources to the various locations, especially where the surge is looking like it's going to take place. Resources from the national stockpile need to reach our warriors, and they are warriors. I tell it all the time. I saw it again this morning. These young, in many cases older, but they're walking into the hospital and they're putting on, I mean, as their doors open, they're going into this place, and, you know, it's not exactly too safe. And they're going in there and they're putting the outfits on and they're putting their masks on and it's incredible. It's like no different than you watch the war movies or you watch the old clips of war running up hills.
please don't
To
take
me, it's the
PPE
same thing.
procedural advice from the
Men and
president
women,
unless he's
young
trained.
and old, but a lot of young people just going in there. They're not thinking about, oh, gee, this is dangerous. They're not saying, oh, I don't want to go in. They're warriors. They're running through those doors. It's the most incredible thing. It's a beautiful,
Well,
it's
people
incredible,
assume they're
beautiful
healthcare
thing.
workers,
Resources from the
logistics
national
professionals.
stockpile
truckers.
need to reach these warriors
in the markets,
in the
supply chain,
hospitals immediately, and we're
restaurants.
making sure they do. And again, the
Police,
states have that responsibility, but we're working with the states, and we're getting the states a lot of things that they can distribute, or when they tell us, we bring it directly to the hospital from the federal stockpile or from the planes that land, without even going to the stockpile. If any state's having difficulty distributing supplies, we urge you to use the National Guard to assist in the delivery. And I have to say, you have done a fantastic job. Deborah, you know that you've done great. Tony, you know that you've done great. But what a job you've done, and I appreciate it. I really do. Your whole group has been incredible. That's a lot of stars you have, I'll tell you that. He's supposed to do a great job when you have 4 stars, right? But the military has been incredible, and I thank them for all of us. Conversely, if a state believes that it has surplus equipment or supplies, very important, because we actually have gotten so much to some of the states that they're able to now, they've done a fantastic job, and they've kept that line low. And we have some states that have surplus equipment and supplies, and they're working with us to rapidly redeploy those supplies to areas of greatest need. We thought that might happen. If it worked out well, that's what was going to happen, and it's happening. And I want to thank Governor Gavin Newsom, who's doing a tremendous
Governor
job, who's announced
California.
California will send 500 ventilators to be distributed to other locations. I think some are going to Arizona, some are going to Washington, D.C. We think they're going to Delaware. We're working it out, but 500 excess ventilators from the state of California, and we're
that's
going to
huge.
get them taken care of wherever they have to go. Those decisions are being made right now. The members of the White House Task Force and I are in close touch with mayors and governors and hospital administrators across our country, and we're told that at the present time, most of the critical needs are being more than met. States have to continue
Let's hope
sharing
so.
detailed information in the amount and utilization rates of medical
We do need to
supplies
keep
so we
track
know
of
what
this
to
stuff. This
resupply
is
them,
important.
or they can get it directly. That includes ventilators. They
So
can
we
get
know
it
what's
directly.
deployed
Ideally,
where,
if they
so
can get
we
it
could,
directly, but if they
rather than
can't, if
sending it
they're
back to
unable to do it,
Washington,
we have
You need to send a state over.
tremendous amounts of
That seems
supplies, and we're
easier.
building it up very
No?
fast too. And this is before the big surge. This information is fundamental to our ability to deliver the material when and where it's most needed. Now, Mike, in his conversation today, I think got some information as to a couple of locations where we're going to be delivering large numbers of ventilators and large numbers of medical supplies, and we'll take care of that. But some of the states are very happy. Even Governor Pritzker from Illinois is happy. Of course, he may not be happy when he talks to the press, but he's happy. He's a very happy man.
I
We're increasingly
don't know if you need to
hopeful
do
that
this
the
at a
aggressive
national
mitigation
teleconference.
strategy we put into place will ultimately allow our hospital system to successfully manage the major influx of cases that we have right now. Again, I say that we're finding, because of the incredible job done by the American people, in conjunction with everybody, governors, the military, federal government, state government, local government. I've had a lot of conversations with New York City and Mayor de Blasio. I've gotten to know him. I didn't know him. Gotten to know him. And a lot of people are working hard. Everybody's working hard. A lot of people are doing a great job. Tell you that. A lot of people are doing a great job.
People working hard.
But the goal is that all Americans have been sacrificing to achieve these last few weeks, things that a lot of people thought were not possible to achieve. And I think we've more than achieved, but we have to go through. Again, we're going to have a rough week. We're going to have maybe a little more than a week. But there's tremendous light at the end of that tunnel. I said it last time, said it last night. There's tremendous light at the end of the tunnel. There's so many things happening with
We
therapeutics,
get past this.
with
I'm
vaccines,
gonna party like it's
with
2020
things that we really want.
because it is.
Deborah, Tony, they're all working so hard on this, but those therapeutics, I mean, look, the vaccines are going to be always a little bit later because of that testing period, but the therapeutics, getting the kind of things that I heard about today, talking to these brilliant companies and brilliant people on the phone was fantastic. It was such an incredible
Oh, Modern Medicine
conversation.
is phenomenal.
And I also
As
spoke
long as
just
you have access to it.
a few minutes ago with former Vice President Biden, who called, and we had a really wonderful, warm conversation. It was a very nice conversation. We talked about pretty much this. This is what we talked about. This is what everyone's talking about.
yeah.
This is what they want to talk about. And he gave me his point of view, and I fully understood that. And we just had a very friendly conversation. Lasted probably 15 minutes. And it was really good. It was really good. Really nice. I think it was very much so. I appreciate his calling. As we continue our efforts to develop treatments and cures this afternoon, I spoke with leaders of the American pharmaceutical companies, and just to give you their names, Amgen, Genentech, Gilead, Regeneron. These are four of the greatest in the world for doing exactly what they're doing. And currently 10 different therapeutic agents are in active trials, and some are looking incredibly successful, but we have to go through a process.
So,
And it's going to be a fairly quick process, I will tell you, based on what the FDA told me. and another 15 are in plans for clinical trials. So they're advancing rapidly. And today, a second company announced that the FDA has authorized its vaccine candidate to begin clinical trials. So you have Johnson & Johnson is already there. I believe they're the one that's first. And now we have a second company that just announced, and was just approved. So we have two companies at that level for the vaccine itself. We've now performed 100, well, if you think of this, 1.79 million tests. That's 1,790,000 tests nationwide. And I think we're going to put up a screen here someplace. Good. They're on cue. They're just on cue. And here it is. This is the process starting
Testing.
on 5 March and ending right there, right about now, right? That's about it.
Yesterday.
So, and it's going up at a rapid rate. Nobody has done more testing. And one of the reasons why they say, and I
depends
think
on the
I
area.
can say this, Deborah, very strongly, but one of the reasons that we have more cases is we've done more testing. If I went to some of these countries that have, in my opinion, far more people than we do that had the problem, and if we did the kind of testing proportionally that we're doing, they'd have many more cases than us. But we
Well,
have more
that's
cases
potentially
because we
possible.
do much more testing. So when you do the testing, you have cases. Otherwise, you wouldn't know about the cases. People sit home, you don't know about it. But we have now done 1,790,000 tests nationwide. That's
That's a
more
lot
than
of
any
tests.
other country in the world. Hence, we have more cases. And that number is growing by nearly 125,000 people per day. Think of that one. So it's growing by
Look at the
125,000
antibody test.
people per
that
day.
may have already had it.
I told you about South Korea. This is a, vastly faster. And we also have, they say, the most accurate of tests. CVS is launching, and they've been great. 2 new drive-through testing sites in Atlanta, Georgia, and Providence, Rhode Island. And each location will be able to test up to 1,000 patients per day using the ultra-fast 5-minute test developed by Abbott Labs. Now they're down to 5 minutes. They call it the ultra-fast, and it's very accurate. Abbott Labs, I
but
want to
how
thank
many
them. They've been
places have that?
fantastic. We're also speeding urgent economic relief to the American worker and families and the employers. As of today, tens of thousands of small businesses have applied for more than $40 billion in relief under the Paycheck Protection Program. You've all been reading about it, and it's really, it's only been going for a couple of days. It's really been performing well. A couple of little glitches, minor glitches that have already been taken care of, what they say. These funds will result in nearly 2 million jobs being preserved, so we're taking care of our workers, small businesses and our workers.
Yeah, it's supposed
Nearly
to stay home. Government
3,000
owns it.
lenders have already made loans under the program, and we're signing up additional lenders very quickly, rapidly. Community banks have been very responsive, and larger banks are also stepping up. If we run out of funds, by the way, we're already preparing because it's going so fast for the small businesses and their employees. We'll ask
So you
Congress to
again, yep.
refill it immediately. But the banks have been great. The big banks, the Bank of America was right up there at the beginning. J.P. Morgan Chase has been great. After the first day, they really came through, and a lot of the big banks, but the community banks have been fantastic. As we announced last week, we are providing $100 billion in direct support for our hospitals. And the first tranche, $30 billion, will be distributed this week. So I want to say one other thing. Our farmers, we love our farmers. And
Keeping
as you
America
know, as
fed.
of April 1st, the China trade deal,
Keeping the world
$250
fed.
billion. They purchased $250 billion from us, if not more. And of that, approximately $50 billion is expected to be with our farmers. So it kicked in as of April 1st, and we'll see how it goes. It seems like they're buying, so we'll let you know how that's going. But they're buying anywhere from $40 to $50 billion worth of our agricultural product. That should have a huge impact on our farmers, a tremendous impact on our farmers, but we're watching it very closely. To fight the medical war, we've mobilized the unbeatable and it is unbeatable strength of American determination, ingenuity, and compassion. I got to see that when I spoke to the great science, because I call them science companies more than drug companies. They're scientists.
I like science.
We've seen businesses, charities, and private citizens making generous donations. So many people are making donations. We've seen states and
Jeff
cities
Bezos gave like $100 million.
supporting and helping each other
to help a lot of healthcare
and
needs,
caring
I
for our
believe.
citizens. And we've seen Americans of all backgrounds and beliefs uniting together to answer the challenge and rise to the moment. And that's what they're doing. Above all, we've been awed and inspired by the exceptional courage of the doctors, nurses, EMTs, and healthcare workers who are the soldiers of this war. No words can ever express the complete measure of our gratitude for these intrepid heroes. One Cleveland patient credited his medical team for not only saving his life through their skill, but forever changing his life through their example of selfless devotion. Couldn't believe it, so generous he was with his statements. And he talked about their bravery in an area that was in such trouble, an area of that hospital where people were dying, and he talked about their bravery. Another survivor in Houston said simply, "I will consider them my angels forever. I will consider them," think of that, "my angels forever." As our nation endures the depths of loss and grief, we are also witness to the summit of American virtue, character, and courage. With the love and dedication of every American patriot, we will win this battle, we will defeat this enemy, and we will rise from this present crisis with new strength, unity, and resolve. And that's what's happening. Tremendous stories are coming out of this horrible moment, very dark moment for the world. 182. I was saying 151 for a while, and then it got up to 160, and it's 182, as I announced yesterday. 182 countries are being attacked by this virus. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank the American citizens for doing a great job. Stay inside, and let's win this, and let's get our country open as soon as we can. I think it's going to be sooner than people think. Things are going really well. Again, light at the end of the tunnel. And with that, I'll take a few questions, and then Mike is going to take over and talk with the Admiral and with the professionals, and we appreciate you being here. Yes, please.
Mr. President, you mentioned that you were asking U.S. drug companies to provide treatment to the British Prime Minister. What sort of treatment is that? Is that something that is available
Well,
to
it's
the
a
American
very,
public?
it's a very complex treatment of things that they've just recently developed, and that they have a lot of experience with, having to do with something
testing
else,
it on
but
Boris,
recent for
or
this.
it's not
And,
available to the
They'll
public?
be, they've already concurred, they've already had meetings with the doctors, and we'll
Was
see
it
whether or not
only
they
available
want to
over
go
there?
that route. But when you're in intensive care, it's a big deal. So they're there, and they're
God bless the
ready.
Prime
I think
Minister.
we have three of them. I spoke with four. You know who the four would be, and you know the people within those. You'd know the companies. I told you the companies, but the people are the greatest in the world. So
I
they're
don't
at
know
the
if I
hospital,
answered the question.
and we'll see. And
Is
they
it
have
Available? Are they
they have
experimenting on
everything
them?
with them should it be needed. Hopefully it won't have to be needed, but should it be needed. I found Boris to be a fantastic person, just like a fantastic, warm, strong, smart guy. He loves his country. You see that? I mean, he fought like hell for his country. And intensive care is big stuff, really big stuff.
Yesterday you were asked about this as well, but now that he's been moved to intensive care, does that give you and the Vice President any pause or additional concerns, steps that you're taking to preserve
Well,
the continuity of government here?
No, I don't think so. Mike had his test a couple of days ago. I had my test a couple of days ago. So, and we're here, and here you are. So, no, I don't think so. But I think we'll probably,
Likely continue
just
testing.
because of questions like that, I think we'll probably have maybe quite a few tests. It's not the worst idea. You know, the system of testing now is so quick and so easy. So I could see.
Well, yes,
you were
if
testing
you have
for-
available, if you have it available. Mass scale testing isn't.
Despite the nearly 1.8 million tests that you say the United States has done, the Inspector General for the Department of Health and Human Services released a report today, a survey of more than 300 hospitals across the country. And the number one complaint from those hospitals were severe shortages of testing supplies and
Well,
a
it's
really
just
long
wrong.
wait time. I mean,
It's
a
just
week
wrong.
or longer.
And did I hear the word Inspector General? Really? It's wrong. And they'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
It's wrong.
Well, let's get
Wrong
the
government.
information.
Well, where did he come from, the Inspector General? What's his name?
What?
It came from the Inspector
No,
General
what's his name?
report.
What's
I
his
don't
name?
know his name
Well,
off the top
find
of
me
my
his name,
head.
let me know,
What?
okay? If
But-
you find me his name, I'd appreciate it.
But sir, these are hospitals
All I can tell
that
you
do
is
not-
this, we
sir,
put up on the
these
board,
hospitals-
you're gonna ask the Admiral, but
these
we are
hospitals
doing,
Signing
who
a
say
rep-
that they're waiting a week or longer to get
You'll
their
speak to
test
the Admiral.
results. Why
but
is
we've
it
done
still
more
taking so
testing
long?
and had more results than any country anywhere in the world. They're doing an incredible job. Now they're all calling us, they want our testing. What are we doing? How do you do the 5-minute test? How do you do the 15-minute test? So give me the name of the Inspector General. Could politics be entered into that? Go ahead,
This
please.
is our,
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Are you worried about retaliation to your decision to ban export of medical goods, like Indian Prime Minister Modi's decision to
The
not
Inspector
export
General for the Department of
hydroxychloroquine to
Youth
the
and
United
Health and
States and other
Services.
I don't like that decision.
Washington
If that's-
Post.
I didn't hear
All
that
right.
that was his decision. I know.
Okay, so let's just really quickly take a look over here. This is the Washington Post from about 5 hours ago. Okay, go down. Blur. Inspector General shows Trump administration is doing a terrible job. Again, this is from the Washington Post. This is by Jennifer Rubin. The Inspector General for the Department of Health and Human Services issued a report on Monday that paints a dismal picture of the sports of coronavirus. The findings are for a period between March 23rd and March 27th, with hospital admissions and deaths were much lower than they are today. Short, the healthcare system is fraying. Hospitals report that their most significant challenge centered on testing and caring for patients known with suspected COVID and keeping legal staff reports. Hospitals report substantial changes, maintaining experiencing their COVID treatments, need for additional PPE as well. These are substantial challenges. Let's just skim right now. Okay, I mean, opinions. Looking for store. All right. Is this the opinion section? Yep, this is an opinion. Okay, maybe the president does have a point there on some things. I see other reports here. Okay. Okay. OIG Justice. Okay. This would require far more investigation, which hopefully everyone has done. The initial thing that I found, it was an opinion piece. I typed in, what was it? Inspector General Report? Something like that? Inspector General Report, 5 hours ago, news. That's what the Googles told me, so, hey. What we got right now is more equipment is coming. A number of companies have ramped up the production. The shortages should be ending, but again, we need to make sure these PPE, the armor for the folks on the ground dealing with this, they get it. If you go out, try to cover yourself up. Try to socially distance from other people. Again, we are not other countries. We are these United States of America. So, sorry I ran a little long, everybody, but hey, peace out, everybody. Thank you all for watching, and y'all know, long live the elbow bump.